Hello everyone, this is Numa Isnard. I am the founder of SPACEAVOCAT, the first firm dedicated to space activities. More and more of you are following the firm's podcast. A big thank you for your support. I'm taking advantage of the month of August and the holidays that go with it to offer you the best moments of the podcast. A little rewind of the latest video episodes. Do not hesitate to contact me for any message, comment, whether on the podcast or for any legal question. Until then, have a great summer and see you soon.
The first and even the second and third year are a bit like the pivotal years where you will have to find a first contract, you will have to prove yourself in a market where when there is already competition, that can be complicated. To realize the life cycle of the satellite, you really have to go through all the stages. We can't skip them. So I would say that first of all, there is, of course, the satellite platform component level, which is essential. Then there is the launcher part, which is very interesting today, because whether at the international level or at the French level, we have a lot of new companies launching micro-launchers. So, I think from a strategic point of view that there will be a lot of interest on it, but I would rather turn to new themes that I saw then, in particular because there have been calls for projects that have come out on it, but I see more and more companies moving towards cybersecurity. And the second aspect, I would say, is everything that is service in orbit.
The Europe of space, which has been around since the start of the space race in the 1960s and 1970s, has been done with an intergovernmental model. It is cooperation between states, between nations for peaceful purposes. That is the very purpose of the creation of the ESA in '75 with its convention. The states declared themselves very interested, and they even approved several elements. They subscribed to the program in a way very generous and abundant, and numerous proposals such as adapting the ESA mechanisms to this new space economic reality that has already been taken into account with the creation of new programs to grow the European startups in all European countries.
A patent covers a technical solution for a technical problem. That's the basic definition to keep in mind. While trademarks will really rather cover a term or forms that distinguish one product from another, such as SPACEAVOCAT, for example, obviously there is no other firm that could be called like that in the region. And the patent really covers a technical solution to a technical problem. The design and model, if I take the third most well-known IP title, it will rather protect the form. The patent is really a technical solution to a technical problem. That's something that is still important to keep in mind. And then this technical solution to be patentable, it must meet 3 criteria which are examined by the patent offices.
You need tailor-made statutes or bylaws from the beginning, and there are things that lawyers are going to be able to anticipate in the incorporation documents. To register a company, first of all, you must define the partners, the founders, the distribution. That is up to the founders of the startup to determine these and tell us. Next, we will have to define the legal structure. In general, from the letter of interest, you have determined in what form people will enter the capital. So either via a classic capital increase, via the issue of new shares directly. So these persons, as soon as the capital increase will occur, will actually become new shareholders in the company, and they will get in directly. Either you have negotiated with these people to have funds directly, but they may actually enter the capital at a more or less short term, often via what are called BSA Air.
For us, what we see in terms of training courses and the interactions we have with our stakeholders and recruiters is that clearly between 2009 when I graduated and when it was almost impossible to find a job in the space sector, even if SpaceX has already existed for almost 10 years. And now, saying that there is a boom would be a phenomenal understatement. Today, we do not know how to supply the sector. Our alumni, any young people who have not even been active in the industry for a long time, and the companies we interact with, they tell us, you don't even realize the situation. You would create 3 times as many engineers. We would hire them all right out of the gate or even before. Hire the creatives in your HR departments and tell them, I'm giving you carte blanche. We're doing tests on population groups. I'm going to reach out to students I don't interact with today, or to whom I do not interact well.
There are, in fact, insurances dedicated to space and by extension to other close activities such as pure computing. So that's where the whole difficulty is. In fact, new space activities require coverage that shall really be adapted, and while there is work to be done on the contracts that already exist, either for space or for other segments of space activities, in order for them to be adapted to the real risks to consider. You have to anticipate them. As I was explaining the complexity of the market today, here is the particularity of the innovation that there is in new space and more broadly in deep tech globally. It is necessary to the maximum extent to discuss with the insurers as soon as possible because for business contracts, and I wish to everyone that new contracts happens very quickly, and it is indeed not always the case, that when we take care of insurance last minute, we may potentially not be able to sign the contract because we have not set up the insurance early enough.
In France, we are lucky to have great engineers. We really have institutes that are the envy of all, like the CNES, the ONERA, which are really absolutely incredible people. We have great schools that are really prestigious and with very good elements, whether ISE, Supero, Estaca, IPSA, Polytechnique. Finally, we have lots and lots of people who have great skills in space. Today, you have to understand that the customer is the objective. The major objective is the first investor, and it's not by raising funds which are often mirages, because even if there are funds which are equity, so that's okay. There also are a lot of funds that are only loans and pure debt. You will have to repay afterwards, so you have to be very, very careful. The real objective is the customer. He is your first investor. It is on him that you have to bet it. Otherwise, a startup or a new space that have no customers is useless.
What defines a space power is first of all the possibility of launching satellites by its own means. So China, in fact, started this activity as early as 1970 with satellites launched later. So for a very long time, we've been an average of 3-4 launches a year, and gradually from the 2000s, and well, we've gone from 10, 15, and then last year 50 launches. And the Chinese are now saying that they want to be at the forefront of humanity in the solar system. So there is, like among Americans, but also like among Russians, a civilizational vision.